What's up, Rasmanites? My Elimination Chamber 2013 pay-per-view review. Today, on the Razman's Reality. Rose Clay and Tensai, the Monsters of Funk. JBL called them something else. I don't know if they know what they're called yet, but they get the win on the pre-show versus the supposed one-night reunited Team Rhodes Scholars. We'll see if that actually ends up being the case, because I think they're the only viable team to take the tag team titles from Team Hell No. It's clear that they're not going to stay together through WrestleMania. I'd be very shocked if they did. First match on the actual pay-per-view card, the World Heavyweight Championship. Alberto Del Rio retains against the Big Show, and surprisingly, without a cash-in from Dolph Ziggler, was a pretty solid match. Big Show really served his purpose here of making Del Rio look strong, and Big Show taps out to the Juji Katami, aka the Cross Armbreaker, at match's end. Next up, United States Championship. Antonio Cesaro successfully retains against The Miz via a disqualification, as Cesaro maneuvers himself to get inadvertently low blowed in the middle of one of Miz's moves. So this feud isn't over. I don't know if it's actually going to be on the WrestleMania card. I don't know if they have enough faith in this feud to last another month and be a major attraction at WrestleMania. Although Cesaro is good enough, The Miz is a former WrestleMania main event. I don't know what they're going to do there, but the feud clearly isn't over after a controversial ending. Next up, the World Heavyweight Championship Elimination Chamber #1 contenders match. Randy Orton versus Mark Henry versus Kane versus Daniel Bryan versus Chris Jericho versus the Real American Jack Swagger, who ends up being your victor in this match. So it's going to be Jack Swagger versus Alberto Del Rio for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. This was the only outcome that I could have accepted, other than Chris Jericho winning and Dolph Ziggler cashing in. Now the interesting thing will be, does Ziggler cash in before WrestleMania and ends up making this match a triple threat match, because he does have history with Swagger with their former tag team partnership, or does somehow, some way, Jericho and Ziggler maybe have a non-title match at WrestleMania, and then they somehow justify Ziggler not going into WrestleMania as champion. I don't see how that can happen. I know that Alberto Del Rio has a ton of momentum. I get that, and he deserves to keep it and see where this goes, but they should have put the title on Dolph Ziggler ages ago. The Money in the Bank contract has lost all relevance. I could not believe that he didn't cash in last night. What is the deal? As far as I know, even though the Money in the Bank pay-per-view is after WrestleMania now, as far as I know, his Money in the Bank contract is almost up. If he isn't champion by the end of WrestleMania in one way, shape, or form or another, and I apologize for any background noise, my nephew is here, but if he isn't World Heavyweight Champion by the end of WrestleMania, then there's just no validity to Money in the Bank anymore at all. So I'm really anxious and nervous and curious what happens to Dolph Ziggler now. But Jack Swagger versus Alberto Del Rio, this is going to be really intriguing because of Swagger's new gimmick. You got the Mystic and Aristocrat, the working man champion, the people's champion that they identify with, against the guy who's spouting right-wing truths in a WWE ring. It's going to be very, very interesting. Feels a lot like an old school Sergeant Slaughter feud, actually, except with Jack Swagger playing the opposite type of American that Sergeant Slaughter used to play. Unless you count his feud with Iron Sheik, but that's for a whole nother discussion. But I'm actually really intrigued by this match, and kudos to WWE for doing something kind of unexpected, even though Swagger was one of two guys, along with Jericho being the other, that I expected to realistically win this match, because I still think I know where they're going with the rest of the competitors for WrestleMania, which I'll get into that if some of them come to fruition as time goes on. But it was a great match. We didn't see anybody eliminated until Mark Henry comes in, and Mark Henry was the last one out of the pod. Mark Henry then eliminates Daniel Bryan and Kane, who don't eliminate each other, so that was a bit of a surprise. And then we see an inadvertent triple team of sorts. We see Swagger hit a running enziguri, then we see Jericho hit a codebreaker, then we see Orton hit an RKO, and that is how Mark Henry gets eliminated. Mark Henry goes out and lays people out. He's frustrated Booker T and Teddy Long have to force Mark Henry out of the ring, but it comes down, as I said, to Jericho, Orton, and Swagger. A lot of back and forth action. Randy Orton ends up RKOing Chris Jericho for the 1-2-3. It looks like Randy Orton's going to steal the thing, but in true heel fashion, in a literal steal, literally seconds after the RKO for the 1-2-3, Jack Swagger rolls up Randy Orton for the 1-2-3, and that's how that match goes down. Good Elimination Chamber match. Great moment with Mark Henry breaking the plexiglass by throwing Randy Orton through it. A lot of sick bumps from everybody involved. Jericho was phenomenal. Swagger was phenomenal, of course, because he won. The whole match was great. Best match of the night, hands down. The Shield versus Sheamus, Ryback, and John Cena. And yay for WWE, because they did something right here. The Shield walks away the victor. Of course, Cena doesn't get pinned, so he doesn't quote-unquote look weak going into his championship match at Mania, but the Shield actually gets the victory here. They continue to build up these three guys as a heck of a team and the future stars that they are. Great match, great stuff for particularly Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, even though Roman Reigns was the guy that was a difference maker, because he delivered a vicious spear on to Ryback as Ryback was going for the shell shock on Seth Rollins. Rollins falls into cover for the 1-2-3, and the Shield is the winner. I'm really curious to see what the Shield does going forward, but that's the one thing I wanted to happen definitively, and it actually did happen last night, so I was very happy. We then get an impromptu match, Dolph Ziggler versus Kofi Kingston, after Ziggler comes out complaining about not being booked on the pay-per-view and talking about Jack Swagger stealing his match, the typical Ziggler thing that he does. And Booker T brings out Kofi. It's a good match between Ziggler and Kofi. They've had plenty of good matches in the past. Ziggler gets the 1-2-3, and then Big E lays out Kofi for good measure. Divas Championship, Tamina versus Caitlyn. Good match for a Divas match. Tamina really showing her talent, and Caitlyn continues to get better and better every time I see her. In my opinion, she wins with a spear, so a lot of spears tonight. Edge and Goldberg must be screaming gimmick infringement at #WWE Chamber. But yeah, Caitlyn wins with a spear and is still your Divas champion. And in the main event, The Rock versus CM Punk for the WWE Championship. If The Rock gets counted out or disqualified, he loses the championship back, or CM Punk regains the title back, as The Rock will lose the championship. So Heyman and Punk do everything they can throughout the course of the night to make that happen. Punk spits in The Rock's face, which was absolutely brilliant. But in the end, it makes no difference as The Rock gets the victory with the Rock Bottom over CM Punk to retain the WWE Championship. But a lot of shenanigans going on, a lot of near falls, and they did leave the door open because CM Punk clearly had The Rock pinned at one point after the original official was down from being bumped off the ring apron by CM Punk. Then the second official goes and gets his ankle run over, or was it? No, sorry. The Rock inadvertently knocks the first referee down as he's being shoved into the ropes by Punk, and Heyman puts the referee in the position to get knocked down. So that was part of the plan. Then Punk accidentally rolls over the knee of the second official, but through the course of all that, Punk clearly had The Rock pinned for what would have been like a 10 count under normal circumstances. So they did leave their options open. If The Undertaker does not return tonight, and make no mistake about it, it has to be tonight in order to properly build toward a WrestleMania feud. If The Undertaker does not return to Raw tonight, they did leave enough of an option there where they can work CM Punk into this match. But right now, as everybody feared and kind of trepidized and really tried to fight against, it is Rock Cena 2 at WrestleMania 29 for the WWE Championship. I don't have a problem with this because it opens the door up for another good match between Punk and Taker. If Punk and Taker doesn't happen though, I absolutely have every bit of a problem with this, as everybody does, because it was supposed to be once in a lifetime, and WWE is just trying to capitalize on big money, thinking they can recapture the magic from last year with the WWE Championship being the selling point. Maybe they can, because The Rock is getting progressively better and better and better the more he is in this run. He was on top of his game last night, but I don't like it. There's going to have to be a lot that happens between Cena and Rock, and it's going to have to be better than what it was during their one-year build for me to buy 100% into did WWE make the right move here. So overall, if I was to give a star rating to the pay-per-view, I'll give it a 8.5 out of 10 because there was some unpredictability and everybody raised their game up. So now we are 48 days away from the granddaddy of them all, April 7th in MetLife Stadium, WrestleMania 29. Let me know what you think in the comment box down below or via a video response. Don't forget to check out all the social media for the official sponsors of this program and channel, Handi Enterprises Inc., your productivity and communication specialist. All company contact information, as always, down below in the description box. I do everything for them, so please go and support them because it helps me out. And of course, you can hit that subscribe button right there if it's your first time viewing an episode of The Razman's Reality and you like what you saw and want to become a Razmanite. This is reality according to The Razman, and Razman style is not just a catchphrase, but a way of life.